They called him Mahatma, the great soul. But behind the image on India's currency notes and the statues across the world was a man far more complex than the version we were taught. Gandhi preached non-violence, yet struggled deeply with desire. He spoke of equality, yet carried prejudices shaped by his time. This video is not about tearing a man down. It's about finally telling the truth without fear. This is an honest look at the human behind the halo. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Because today, something strange is happening all across the world. The man once celebrated as the father of India is now being questioned, criticised, and even labelled racist. So here's the real question. How did a man who faced racism himself come to be accused of it? And what are we missing when we refuse to look at the whole truth? So was he really a racist? Or has he been targeted yet again with racism? Or have we forgotten the man behind the myth? Because some of the facts that I'm about to share in this video are ones you've probably never heard before. I'm Alpa Pandya, a spiritual mindset coach, a former BBC radio presenter, and a lifelong learner of the truth. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born in 1869 in Porbandar, Gujarat, India. Now, his childhood wasn't extraordinary. He was timid, soft-spoken, easily frightened. At just 13, though, he was married to Kasturbai Gokuldas Kapadia, later known to history as Kasturba, or also Ba for short, out of love. She would remain his partner and moral compass for the rest of his life. As a teenager, he wrestled with guilt and small rebellions, like lying to his parents about smoking. He wasn't perfect, he wasn't fearless, he was just a boy searching for himself, like many young children are. When he sailed to London to study law, he carried that shyness with him. At first, he was overwhelmed, trying to become the perfect English gentleman. Suit, tie, dancing lessons. But London also gave him something else. Discipline and perspective. Gandhi forced himself to tackle his weakness head-on. He joined a public speaking group and slowly trained himself to overcome his fear. He would never become a fiery orator, but he learnt to speak from conviction, and that people listened to. London also expanded his heart. In 1889, a bitter dock strike paralysed the city.
This opportunity of being surrounded by these happy children and seeing the homes of the poor. Whatever the result of the mission that brought me to London, I know that I shall carry with me the pleasantest memory of my stay in the midst of the poor people of East London.
That sense, Gandhi was still untested, a shy lawyer with fragile confidence, until he boarded a train in South Africa and everything changed. And later in this video, I'll also share the shocking reason Gandhi once visited unemployed British mill workers in England. Yes, really, stick around for that one. In 1893, Gandhi took a job in South Africa. Almost immediately, he collided with racism in its rawest form. On a stagecoach, he was told to sit on the floor by the driver, and when he refused, he was beaten. In Durban, a magistrate ordered him to remove his turban in court. He refused. Indians weren't even allowed to walk on pavements in Africa. Once a policeman kicked him off the footpath straight into the street. And then came the moment. On a cold night In Pietermaritzburg, Gandhi was thrown off a train. He was immediately questioned about his presence in the carriage and how he obtained his ticket. The train official demanded to know what he was doing in first-class carriage. Gandhi replied calmly that he held a first-class ticket. When asked how he had obtained it, Gandhi answered simply he had paid for it. The official responded that there were no Indian or coloured attorneys permitted in first class in South Africa. Turning to another officer, he ordered, "Remove him." Gandhi protested, stating that he had a valid ticket, that he always travelled first class. The official shouted back, ordering him to return to third class and threatening that if he did not comply, he would be forcibly removed at the next station. For refusing to leave first class, even though he had a valid ticket. Bruised and humiliated, he sat shivering in the station all night, wondering should he just get up and give up and go home or fight. That night, Gandhi chose to fight, not with fists, not with guns, but with resistance. And from that decision was born his weapon of choice, Satyagraha, which means the force of truth. And this is where his story gets complicated. In the collected works of Mahatma Gandhi, his letters from 1890s show he referred to Africans using the racial slur, kafir. He argued that Indians were different and should not be classed with the natives. Yes, it's painful to hear, but it's documented in his own words. However, decades later, Gandhi publicly supported African rights, condemned racial discrimination, and worked with leaders who fought for equality. So while he began with prejudice, he evolved. That evolution is what makes his journey both disturbing and important. In South Africa, Gandhi began experimenting. He created the Natal Indian Congress, organised protests, and was even jailed for defying racist laws. On Tolstoy Farm, named after the Russian writer he admired, Gandhi lived simply, practicing self-discipline, celibacy, and community living. These weren't just political strategies, these were experiments with his own soul. And this was after reading the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, and many other spiritual books while he was away. South Africa wasn't just a chapter in his life, it was the laboratory where Gandhi discovered the power of non-violent resistance. And when he finally returned to India in 1915, he came not as a timid lawyer, but as a leader in training. Back home, Gandhi threw himself into India's struggles. In Champaran and Khera, he stood with farmers against crushing taxes. He didn't just direct protests, he lived in their huts, he ate their food, he shared their suffering, and that was new, that was radical. Slowly, people began to call him Mahatma, the great soul. Gandhi never liked the title himself, feeling very unworthy of it, but by now, he was no longer just Mohandas, he had become the face of a movement. Over the years, Gandhi's acts of defiance became legend. The Salt March of 1930, which was a 240-mile walk to the sea, when he picked up a fistful of salt, millions picked up courage. This was Gandhi's defining stand, which came when he walked at the front of these 70,000 people in a peaceful uprising against the unfair salt tax that stopped Indians from using their own resources. The brutal British crackdown that followed sparked global anger, but it also turned the world's eyes toward Gandhi with deep respect. A simple man in a dhoti shook the grip of an empire and exposed the weakness of a so-called superpower. His choice of khadi cloth, rejected imported suits to spin his own yarn. Every thread was rebellion. His fasts, both protest and purification, a reminder that politics must have a moral core. Does it have that these days? I'll let you answer that one. His fight against untouchability, calling the oppressed Harijans children of God. His dream of interfaith harmony, believing India could never be free if it was divided. And here's a lesser-known fact. In 1931, Gandhi visited Lancashire in England, the heart of the textile mills. His boycott of British cloth had thrown thousands out of work, but instead of hiding, Gandhi took the invitation, walked into Darwin, met the jobless workers, sat in their homes and told them, "We boycott not to hurt you, but to save Indian artisans. Once India is free, the boycott ends. Your prosperity must not come at the cost of India's ruin." That was Gandhi's genius. He could resist you fearlessly and still humanize you. The British Empire had guns. Gandhi had salt, cloth, and the courage of ordinary people. And yet, history shows he won. His philosophy of satyagraha inspired Martin Luther King Jr. in America.
I came to Gandhi in the same setting in theological seminary days. I had heard of Gandhi, but I remembered hearing a message by the president of Howard University, Dr. Mordecai Johnson, who had just returned from India. He spoke in Philadelphia on his trip to India and the whole philosophy of Gandhi and passive nonviolent resistance. Now, I was so deeply moved by the message that I went away and bought several books on Gandhi and Gandhian technique. And at that point, I became deeply influenced by Gandhi, never realizing that I would live in a situation where it would be useful and meaningful.
Nelson Mandela in South Africa. Even Einstein said, generations to come will scarcely believe that such a man walked this earth. Did you know Gandhi was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize 5 times? He never won, but his ideas outlasted every prize, every empire. Gandhi even wrote to Hitler in 1939, begging him to stop the war, signing it, "Your friend." That was Gandhi, addressing dictators as human beings, appealing to the silver of conscience he believed everyone carried. But Gandhi wasn't above criticism. He clashed with another freedom fighter, Subhash Chandra Bose, who wanted armed resistance. Baba Ambedkar accused Gandhi of not going far enough on caste reform. His personal experiments with food, celibacy and self-denial were sometimes baffling to many. Gandhi was not a saint floating above humanity. He was a man wrestling with it. Gandhi's struggle wasn't only political or public. Some of his most troubling battles were private. Gandhi undertook what he called experiments in celibacy. According to the diaries of his grandniece Manu Gandhi, he slept beside young women, including Manu herself, to test whether he could remain completely free of sexual desire. Gandhi claimed these were spiritual tests of self-control, no acts of intimacy. But even at that time, senior leaders like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel condemned the practice as inappropriate and dangerous. Today, historians view these actions as ethically disturbing, raising serious questions about power, consent, and spiritual authority. And in the end, the prophet of non-violence was felled by violence. On January 30th, 1948, just 5 months after India won her freedom from British rule, Mahatma Gandhi was shot dead in Delhi. The man who freed a nation without lifting a weapon fell to bullets fired by one of his own. Nathuram Godse walked up to Gandhi during his evening prayer and fired 3 shots into his chest and stomach at close range. Gandhi's last words were, "Hey Ram," and passed away within half an hour. But why did Nathuram Godse kill Mahatma Gandhi? Well, because some say he believed Gandhi had betrayed Hindus during the India partition. Godse, a Hindu nationalist, felt Gandhi was too sympathetic towards Muslims in Pakistan, especially when Gandhi fasted to pressure the Indian government to release funds to Pakistan after independence. He saw Gandhi's calls for peace and unity as weakness and believed his influence was hurting Hindu interests. In Godse's mind, killing Gandhi was an act to protect the nation. But in reality, it silenced the very voice that had freed it. Gandhi's death wasn't just the end of a man. It was the loss of India's moral compass. But here's something most people don't know. This wasn't the first attempt on Gandhi's life. There had been 5 before this one, and multiple others. The first to note, in 1934, a bomb was thrown at his car in Pune, India during his Harijan Yatra. It missed. The second, in 1944, at Panchgani, Nathuram Godse himself, dagger in his hand, charged at Gandhi during a prayer meeting but was stopped by followers, the same man who would one day pull the trigger on Gandhi. The third attempt later that year came when Gandhi planned to meet Muhammad Jinnah. Godse and others publicly threatened to stop him and were briefly detained before being let go. The fourth attempt in 1946, when boulders were placed on railway tracks to derail the train Gandhi was travelling in. He survived and calmly said, "By the grace of God, I've escaped death 7 times. And the fifth attempt just 10 days before his death, when a bomb exploded at his prayer gathering in Delhi, a warning of what was to come. Yet through all of it, Gandhi remained unshaken, still preaching peace, forgiveness and unity. He once said, "I will not die just yet. I aim to live till 125. And maybe in a way he has, because though his body fell that evening in 1948, splattered with gunshots, Gandhi lives on in the hearts of millions across the world, still known as Bapu, still called the father of the nation. Gandhi's presence isn't just in India. His statues stand across the world. In London, you'll find him at Tavistock Square and Parliament Square. And in Leicester, my own city, across the oceans, Gandhi stands in Johannesburg, South Africa, where his journey as a young lawyer began. In the United States, his image rises in Washington, D.C., New York, San Francisco, Houston, Milwaukee, Virginia, Salt Lake City, and the very recent one in 2024 in Seattle. You'll also find him in Brisbane, Australia, Moscow, Russia, Palo Alto, California, and of course in many parts of India. From New Delhi to Mumbai to Porbandar, his home, roads and memorials cover the country like living footprints of his journey. Because Gandhi may have left his body long ago, but his message still walks with us in every city that bears his name and in every heart that still chooses peace over power. But here's the painful truth. Even as Gandhi's statues stand across the world, some have faced hate instead of honour. Here in the UK, where his message of peace once inspired millions, Gandhi murtis have been vandalised, sprayed with graffiti, defaced and disrespected. The statue at Tavistock Square in London has recently been attacked in what police called a racially motivated hate crime. During the George Floyd protests in 2020, even the Gandhi statue at Parliament Square was defaced with the word racist. So before I end this video, let's stop pretending this is only about history. At the time of recording this video, it will be nearly 80 years since India's independence this coming August, and 78 years today since the day Gandhi was assassinated, January 30th, 1948. The question isn't whether Gandhi mattered. The question is, what did we actually learn? We honour his ideas of peace and resistance, yet we live in a world driven by outrage, instant judgment and moral shortcuts. So was Gandhi racist? The truth is, context matters. He was a man evolving through his time, shaped by both privilege and pain. Did Gandhi say things that sound racist today? The answer is yes, he did. But so did much of the world in that era. What's different is that he changed. The same man who once separated himself from others ended up dedicating his entire life to uniting them. That's not hypocrisy, that's evolution. His early writings show bias, yes, but they also show growth. The same man who once struggled to understand race later stood against oppression in all its forms. Gandhi himself said that much of what he believed as a young man changed as he matured through satyagraha, truth force. His actions and philosophy stand for equality and compassion for all humanity. So in simple terms, Gandhi wasn't born enlightened. Nobody is.
To voice the abhorrence of apartheid to the world, we salute you in the name of the African National Congress and the millions of the oppressed, fighting people of South Africa. India's link with South Africa in respect of the liberation struggle.
Maybe what's happening today isn't just about Gandhi. Maybe it's about us and how quick we are to judge history without really having the knowledge and without understanding it. Because if we erase every imperfect leader, we might also erase the lessons their transformation left behind. Gandhi's story isn't one of perfection.
At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
Gandhi's dream of a self-reliant, self-sufficient India didn't die with him. In fact, in many ways, it's being revived today as I speak. India's current Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has taken that same vision of Swadeshi and turned it into Atma Nirbhar Bharat, a mission to make India self-reliant, made in India and strong in its own identity. And in the last 10 years, India has risen to become the fourth largest economy in the world and on its way to become the third largest economy.
130 crore Indians have given the call for an Atma Nirbhar Bharat, a self-reliant India. Atma Nirbhar Bharat merges domestic production and consumption with global supply chains. Atma Nirbhar Bharat is not about being self-contained or being close to the world. It is about being self-sustaining and self-generating.
What was taken away from India during British colonial times is now being rebuilt into India's strength and power. And the world has noticed this. Recently, in the UN General Assembly, the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni praised India's role under Modi, calling India a nation with the potential to resolve global conflicts, not through war, but through peace. These are values Gandhi stood for. And in that sense, his philosophy is still alive. influencing how a nation chooses peace over force and principle over impulse. But recognizing that does not mean accepting everything Gandhi did. His personal choices, particularly his so-called experiments in celibacy, crossed moral boundaries and went against the very values of dignity, consent and restraint that he publicly preached. Spiritual intent does not excuse ethical failure, and no individual, however revered, should be placed beyond scrutiny. So the real question isn't just about Gandhi or the past, it's about us, here, now. In a world shaped by violence, division and instant judgment, can we still hold on to principles like peace and truth without losing our moral clarity, accountability and humanity? That's the conversation worth having. Tell me what you think in the comments. Before you go, if this video added value for you, there are 2 simple ways you can support this work. You can use hype to help this video reach more people. It tells YouTube this conversation matters. And if you'd like to directly support the channel, super thanks is available below. Both genuinely help keep thoughtful, research-driven stories like this alive. And if you haven't watched it yet, don't miss the next video. This sadhu lived in silence for 70 years, Swami Sundaranand, the story that has crossed 42,000 views already for a reason. Watch it next. I'll see you in the next one.